Hey guys, and welcome to another Cloud Gaming Roundup. So this week we've had plenty of new games coming for Google Stadia, GeForce Now has a fair few things launching, and xCloud gets some behind the scenes upgrades as well, which have now been fully rolled out. So let's get on with the video and get cracking with the news. So first up with Google Stadia, Far Cry 6 has launched, and by all accounts so far it works really well. We will have a review of this game coming next week for Google Stadia in terms of performance, how it works, how it looks, and if there's any crashes or anything like that. One disappointing thing to note is unfortunately it does only run at 30 frames per second, so with it being a first person shooter that might be enough to put some people off out there. Also, it doesn't have a field of view slider, so again, depending what type of console you're playing on, if you're playing up close to a PC monitor, for example, then that might be something that affects your decision in buying this game. So just bear that in mind. Apart from that, it runs really well. It looks pretty damned fantastic. So it's all kind of a bit of a mixed bag as to whether or not it's going to be worthwhile picking up for you, depending on your play style. One thing to bear in mind is if you are going to be playing this game cooperatively, it does have Stream Connect, which basically allows you to see what your co-op gamers are also doing at the same time. So you'll get like a little preview of their screen. So for example, if I were playing this with Liam, I'll be able to see what he's up to, see where he's about, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more immersive and gives you a little bit more control over that co-op gameplay. So that's something worthwhile. Again, bearing in mind if you're going to be playing it cooperatively, it does add a little bit of flavour to the game. Now, aside from the October Stadia Pro games, we've also got some more games landing this month as well, and they are as follows. So, first one is Blaze and the Monster Machines, which is like a little kind of, I guess, a racing game for the young ones. So if you've got little kids and they want to be able to play something on Stadia, it's a racing game, looks pretty fun. That will be landing on October 16th. The next one coming up, again for children, or I guess adults as well, if you want to be able to play a little bit of My Friend Peppa Pig, which will be landing on October 22nd. Now this game will see you basically controlling Peppa Pig and playing in the Peppa Pig world, if that's a thing. You'll meet characters from the Peppa Pig show. It looks like a blast for children, but maybe not so much for us adults. Moving on, one that looks really interesting is Riders Republic, and this is coming on October 28th. And this looks like a big sort of a MMO type racing game when you can do mountain biking, you can do this sort of like gliding, you can do boarding. It looks really interesting, and it kind of looks as though it pushes the boundaries of things. And the fact I believe it's up to like 50 players will all take part in big epic races. There's very big open world areas for you to explore. Looks really interesting. I'm not normally into these sort of racing games, but this one's kind of caught my eye because it just looks like it, like I say, it pushes those boundaries and looks different to what's come before it, so definitely one worthwhile checking out. And the final game that is coming this month, again, another one for children, so it seems as though Stadia are again very heavy on the child front, which is PJ Masks Heroes of the Night, and that will be landing on October 29th. And again, this puts you in control of the characters from PJ Masks. You go off exploring, there's a little bit more action platforming and stuff like that. So again, interesting for the kids, and it's, I suppose, a decent approach for Google Stadia in a way, because these things are ending up on the TV a lot more, and if ultimately you can get the younger generation into using your devices, then well, it means that hopefully that next generation will also start using it. Just a bit of a shame we're not seeing more. However, there's a decent amount coming. There is one notable exception that is not coming to Google Stadia, or at least we don't believe it's coming to Google Stadia. So, Rockstar finally announced Grand Theft Auto Remastered, which sees their older titles are getting a remaster, coming over to pretty much every platform apart from Google Stadia. Now, there were some leaks that said that this was going to be coming, and they also claimed it would be coming to Google Stadia. Unfortunately, doesn't look as though it will be. They were definitely left off the reveal, and there weren't any symbols or logos or anything to indicate it will be coming to Google Stadia, which is a bit of a shame. It will, however, be coming across to iOS and Android devices next year, so you will be able to play it on the mobile. Just a bit of a shame it's not showing up for Stadia. There's been some talk and speculation in all the different forums that maybe for the 2-year anniversary of Google Stadia that's coming up in like a month or so, that they might announce it then, but it just seems unlikely that if it was coming, it would have probably been shown off. It's not the first time that this has happened with Resident Evil 8, for example. It wasn't announced as coming to Google Stadia at the time. It wasn't in the sort of platform reveal, but it did obviously come across. So whether or not it does, I guess we'll find out. But as it is, at the moment, with the official announcement that came from Rockstar, no, it's not coming to Google Stadia. So moving across to Nvidia GeForce Now, and they had a really strong September. So they brought 59 new titles across to GeForce Now, which is a pretty decent sized bag of titles to be able to play. So that's really nice to see their catalogue expanding. They've obviously got more games coming in October, and there's some more games that are available to play as of right now. One of the big standout ones, of course, is Far Cry 6, and unlike on Google Stadia, this will run at up to 60 frames per second. However, there have been a lot of reports that it's not a steady 60 frames per second. So again, depending on what you like, do you want a smooth 30 frames per second or a sometimes hitting 60 frames per second and bouncing between it? It's all down to you and your preference and your connection, so things may vary. However, apart from it not being the smoothest 60 frames per second, apparently it works pretty well and it looks really fantastic on GeForce Now. So if you are in that boat where you have a gaming PC and you want to be able to play it on the cloud every so often, then it might be worthwhile picking it up on GeForce Now rather than getting it on something like Google Stadia. But again, depends what platform you're using, depends on what type of devices you're using, and it all depends on how you game. Also free of charge at the moment on Epic Game Store and available on GeForce Now is PC Building Simulator. So if you want to be able to build your own PC in a simulator, then have at it. You can pick that up on Epic Game Store as of right now, and that's available to play on GeForce Now. There are also other games available to play as of right now that have just been added, and they're up on the screen for you to view. Also coming in October, so Nvidia have revealed what's coming across to GeForce Now in October, and some of the standout ones are Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So again, should be interesting. Fingers crossed it'll work a little bit better than Marvel's Avengers. It's already looking like it's a better game, but I guess only time will see, and we'll have to wait and see what those reviews say. Also as well, Riders Republic, like we mentioned with Google Stadia, is coming across to GeForce Now. So again, depending on how you play and if you've got a gaming PC or anything like that, might be worthwhile picking up on GeForce Now rather than on something like Stadia. But again, it all varies depending on you. And then of course, there are a whole slew of games coming across in October, and we'll have those up on the screen so you can have a quick scroll through them. And there does seem to be a decent amount of titles that are coming across to GeForce Now in October, so things are looking really good in that space as well. Now moving on to Microsoft and xCloud, and an interesting thing has happened. So they were transitioning all of their sort of cloud gaming services across onto the Xbox Series X blades, so that way it'd be more powerful, you get better frames per second, you'd have better graphics, far better load times as well. We got to preview it and we were playing it because it seems to be on some of the games, and it definitely made a huge difference. That has now apparently been fully rolled out to all players and all games and titles, so that way you should see a much smoother experience if you are using xCloud. They've also announced 8 new titles that are coming across to the service and Game Pass as well. Some of the standout ones are Back 4 Blood, which we knew was coming across, but it's nice to see that's coming this month. A really fun game we got to play in the preview when they had it in the beta. Very much giving us Left 4 Dead vibes, so if you're into that sort of gameplay, it's definitely one worthwhile checking out. It pits you against hordes of different zombies, and you can play in 4-player co-op, and it's just a really good fun blast of a game, so definitely worthwhile checking out. There are also more titles coming across to Game Pass as well, which will be available for cloud, and we've popped those up on screen for you to have a look at. So all in all, a pretty decent week for cloud gaming. There's a lot of different titles coming across to the different platforms, so depending on how you play and which one that you're into, or if you like playing on all of them, there's definitely going to be something there for you to pick up and try out. Let us know what you're currently playing in the comments and on what cloud gaming platform as well. Is there anything that stands out for you that you're really excited to play, or are you just not too bothered about the latest releases and announcements this week? As always, hope you've liked that video, and if you have, hit that like button because it helps YouTube to spread the word. And in the meantime, stay safe and we will see you soon. Bye.